Hi there, I'm Colin, aka the Tone Wizard, and I hope you're doing very well wherever you may happen to be. It's pissing rain outside where I happen to be. That means I've got a full day off and a full day to make this video, so I'm pretty happy about that. I'd like to thank some of the new subscribers to my channel. Thank you very much for getting involved in the comments. I recently done a couple of Insane Clown Posse videos of all things, and you should go and check out a video called that I did called The FBI versus the Insane Clown Posse. I've had a lot of fun talking to juggalos in the comments, and I swear to God, they're some of the nicest people I've talked to on YouTube, and I'm not just being funny there. Go check that out. So today's video is going to be my track-by-track review of the Phish album Rift. I've previously done all of the albums that precede this release by Phish on my channel. I've reviewed those. You can go check those out if you like. And yeah, let's get right into it. Rift is a concept album released on Elektra by Phish February the 2nd, 1993. The album is apparently about the rift in a relationship between a man and his lover. How much saucier could it get? It was recorded in White Crow Studios in Burlington, Vermont, and The Castle in Nashville, Tennessee. And it was produced by the late Barry Beckett of Muscle Shoals fame. He was in the Muscle Shoals rhythm section. I believe he had something to do with the studio, the Muscle Shoals studio in Alabama. And of course, he sung about on the Lynyrd Skynyrd song Sweet Home Alabama, which I can't play a clip of for you because this video would get fucking blocked. The artwork for the album is by David Welker, and supposedly incorporates the titles of each of the tracks in it. Now, I did read that the track The Horse is not represented and was put onto the cover of the next album, Hoist, which I've yet to check out and cannot confirm. But after my review, I'm actually going to pull up a picture of the album art, the front and the back kind of side by side, and I'm going to go through it and see if I can find the song titles or the themes of each of the tracks here. I'm going to do that after the review, so stick around for that if you're interested in that sort of thing. When I was researching the album, I also found that they put out a promotional video, which they said was about 6 minutes, but it's actually about 8.5 minutes. I found it easily enough on YouTube, and you can check that out. I'll put a link to that down in the description. You can check that out. And there was a clip that I want to play for you of Trey talking about the concept of the album. So take a listen to this.
The person in question on the album Rift is experiencing a rift in a relationship. He's consciously thinking of his situation, and then he starts to drift. There's a segue. He starts to drift off into sleep, and throughout the night he goes through different cycles of sleep, where sometimes his dreams take the form of, at one point he feels he's trapped in a maze, and there's a song about that.
You ever had a dreams that you want to.
You really should go check out that promotional video, because in it you can also see images of Phish chicks dancing that are now probably old enough to be the old Tone Wizard's mom here. And that kind of got me thinking what a Phish MILF is. Is that a MILF? Is that a FMILF? I don't know. I know there's Wookiees and stuff like that, but let me know if there's any kind of female cliches of Phish fans. And also, before I begin this video, I just want to clearly state that I am, if you haven't noticed, not a Phish expert. I'm not a lifelong fan. I've just gotten into it. And the series that kind of started me on my channel with Phish was called Getting Into Phish. I was dubious and skeptical beyond measure that I would ever get into Phish, but I clearly am, because like a year later, I'm still making videos. But a user named Adrian Florian, who was very nice. She was nice enough to share my Phish quiz video, which you can take a look at on the channel. You have to identify Phish songs with just a 1-second clip. She shared them onto some forums, but she left a comment that said, please do a bit more research about Phish and who they are and their lyrics and the meaning of them before you make yet another absurd video about them. And once again, Adrian, thank you very much for your comments. Thank you for sharing my stuff, but these videos are my reaction. They're my review. They're my first impressions of songs I've never heard before. And like I say, I'm not an expert, but I'm going to be somewhat critical because I have an opinion. And if you stop thinking critically, arguably you stop thinking. Now, with the obviously limited amount of research that I've done, I don't think that artists like Phish would mind somebody being a little absurd. I think they're probably guilty of a little absurdism themselves. And at the end of the day, it's art that we're talking about, which the last time I checked is completely subjective to the audience. So not meaning any negativity there. And thank you very much again, Adrian. But this is going to be an absurd video.
All right, you're tuned into the Tone 98.7. This is my track-by-track review of Rift by Phish, and this is track 1. What did I think of it? Well,
I was curious if the vocals were back and forths between Mike and somebody else in the band, or if it was just Trey doing separate takes. I don't know. I've definitely heard the track before, Rift. I love the energy of it. I love the way it comes tumbling in. And I have a clip here because I thought that this particular track demonstrates something that Phish does better than any other band that I've ever listened to, inclusive of the Grateful Dead, who I think touched on this but never took it to quite this level. So this is a clip from Rift, and we'll just listen to it. Now, to me, what that's doing there is that's just, I don't want to play too long of a clip because I don't want to get my video blocked, but it's just tickling on the edge of some kind of musical thing. It's like a slow nerve action kind of thing, which is a great band from Canada that you should check out. But what I mean is, like, they teeter just on the precipice of getting somewhere, and sometimes Phish will burst off into a greater level of expression. If you kind of get where I'm going with this, it kind of mimics like an orgasm. But Phish does this to great effect, and particularly in that song you can hear. Let's just hear it one more time. And they keep rising and keep rising and keep rising. And like I say, sometimes they burst out into a great musical crescendo, and sometimes they just taper off altogether. But I really do enjoy the track Rift. And I'm wondering out there if anybody's got any good live recommendations of versions of Rift that I can check out, preferably with video. Let me know about that. Moving on to track number 2, Fast Enough for You. This was a slow jam that, to be honest with you, I wasn't really into, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about. And track number 3 is Lengthwise, which is a very relatable and tender a cappella by John Fishman, the drummer, and it's about sleeping lengthwise across the bed presumably when his lover is not there. And that's very relatable. I know when the old tone wipes away, I actually build like a giant like pillow enclosure to sleep in, and it's very enjoyable. So a relatable little track, and not much to say otherwise on that one. All right, track 4 clearly needs no introduction. It's Maze. I'm pretty sure this is a live staple. If it's not, then that's a sin in of itself. Let me know if you have any good live versions of Maze that I can check out. Maybe on Spotify, maybe on one of the live albums. If you can do that, I'd appreciate it as I catch my breath. Now, immediately when I was listening to this, I thought, dear God, if anybody doubts whether Trey Anastasio is a guitar god, a living guitar god, this track should pretty much end that. And I was kind of thinking the same thing when I heard Llama on the last album that I reviewed, A Taste of Nectar. And so just for curiosity's sake, I typed in top 100 guitarists of all time, saw a Rolling Stone article, immediately went to it, and I was expecting to find him somewhere. Maybe in the lower rankings, because Phish has become kind of a target for people, an easy thing for people to punch down on, because the fans are kind of intense, and it's a vibe that a lot of people don't get. But he was not on the list. And then I went up to the top of the article to see when it was published, and it didn't really say a date on the publication, but it said that it was made by a panel of like 100 other guitarists, some of whom deserve to be on that list. And I saw that Trey Anastasio was actually one of the people who put together this list, but he's not on the goddamn thing, and it shocked me. I mean, just as a live player, he should be on this list. And especially because Bruce Springsteen and Lou Reed were on this list of the 100 greatest guitar players of all time. I'll put a link to that article in the description. You can go through there. Maybe I missed it. I don't know. But that was amazing because, I mean, Lou Reed is a good songwriter. I love Lou Reed, and I love some of the guitar work on the early Velvet Underground stuff. Beginning to See the Light is one of my favorite guitar songs of all time. Even it's just a simple thing, but I just love the way it sounds. But he had John Cale and another guitarist in the band, and I've seen live footage of him playing, and it's not great, to be honest with you. And Bruce Springsteen being on the list, again, a songwriter, not somebody I particularly care for, but he has Steven Van Zandt, who's also in The Sopranos in his band, and in recent times he's got Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine in to do the guitar work, because why? If he's one of the 100 greatest guitar players of all time, why would he not play the goddamn guitar? It shocked me. I was shocked, and I'm goddamn shocked. Track number 5 is a little track called Sparkle, and when I listened to it, I sparkled my pants. Check it out.
Laughing, laughing, fall apart. 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 Laughing, laughing, fall apart.
Track number 4 is Horn. It's a solid 4-minute track. The opening harmonies are great. The closing harmonies are great. I could have listened to that for 4 minutes, but yeah, the track was okay. I did enjoy it. But track number 7 caught my attention because a lot of people don't know this, but I found out it's the actual inspiration for the Elaine dance from Seinfeld. Track number 8, My Friend, tell me who this is. I was trying to be Ian Anderson from Jethro Tull just then. I know the song doesn't have a flute in it, but I don't have a flute either. That's a turkey baster. It's the closest thing I have to a flute because I'm not a flautist.
My friend, he's got a knife.
My wife got me this knife.
My friend, he's got a knife.
It's an obsidian dagger from Mexico. She went on a trip with her friends, and I'm glad I didn't go, because I would have been a social burden to them. Track number 9, Way, is a track I wasn't really into, to be honest with you, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it. Track number 10 is an interesting little track, All Things Reconsidered. Apparently it's a reworking of a theme from an NPR radio show and a 70s news show or something like that. Not much else going on there. Track number 11 is Mound. It starts off bluesy, and it wakes up confused in a dental chair with an unzipped fly wondering what the fuck just happened. Track number 12, it's Ice. At this point, I'll be honest with you, I was getting a little Phish fatigue here. And I think it's fair to point out that I'm doing this review track by track in one go through. So if I'm not absorbing all the deep plot lines of the concept album or following the narrative properly, that's on me and my attention span. But yeah, just going through this one thing, I can honestly say I don't know if I'll be listening to the whole thing through again. I'll definitely be re-listening to Riff. I want a good live version of that if anybody's got it, and some great live versions of Maze that I know are out there. But yeah, I think in terms of this one, I just got lost in the fog of it. My mind started wandering off to shit I gotta do and shit I should not have done in my life. Rounding out the album here, we have 3 tracks. Lengthwise Encore. It's the Lengthwise Encore. Not much more to be said there. The Horse, which is a short, somewhat dissonant guitar piece. And the opening chords to that, I think that's some kind of A chord. I know those notes. I think I've, been stoned or whatever in my younger years and just been sat on a chair just strumming those notes. Who knows what's going on there. Anyways, ignoring my fatigue at this point, I think it's cool that they put stuff like this on the albums. And when I open up a Phish album and I see 1 minute and 13 seconds or whatever, I'm excited to see what those little bits are going to be like lengthwise. They're always enjoyable, even if it's not something I listen to again and again and again. And it would definitely be cool to hear them drop some of those in a live show as well. Track number 15, the final track, Silent in the Morning. It's a great, hopeful track, and it's a fitting end to this album. And if I listen to it again, I would listen to the lyrics a little bit more and see how it kind of concludes the story, or if it concludes the story, or if there's a goddamn story whatsoever. And that I will say, I know this is a concept album. I know what the concept is going into it. Would I have been able to pick out the concept without the information going into it? I'm not too sure, because a lot of the songs are more lyrically driven than they are vocally driven, and that's just Phish playing to their strengths. I can't blame them as composers and as prodigious musicians. So yeah, I did enjoy this album. Before I get into the final ratings and some things I wanted to talk about with the production, I thought it would be cool to look at a picture of the artwork and see if we can find all these tracks within it. So let's pull that up and check that out. So here is the album art cover. The front with the bed and the chair would be the back cover. And let's go through this very quickly and see if we can find everything. So track number 1 is The Rift. What is the rift in this art? I was thinking that it might be back here, this kind of rift here. I mean, he's alone in the bed, which ties into the concept. I don't know. I don't know where the rift is, but I'm just going to assume that it's out here. Maybe that's it. It's right above his head. Something's faded off into the background. I don't know. That's my interpretation here. Track number 2, Fast Enough for You. Well, I don't know where that would be represented. There doesn't seem to be anything particularly quick here, so I don't know. Maybe one of these little animals here is some kind of quick animal. I'm not too sure. Let me know what you think in the comments. Lengthwise, he's obviously sleeping lengthways across the bed. You got a little foot hanging off over there, so that's pretty obvious, and that's the reference there. And the most obvious is the maze itself underneath the bed, which I don't need to point out. Sparkle, yeah, I mean, the floor seems pretty shiny. The chair seems shiny. This little bit of the floor here seems shiny, but I'm not too sure about that. Horn, you can't see his horn. Maybe is that a horn? Is that a little horn outline there? Who knows? I don't know. This video is absurd. I told you it would be. The wedge, is that the wedge there? The wedge missing out of the bed? Are the floors all wedges made into a square? Intersecting triangles? Wedges, if you will? I don't know. You tell me. Moving along here. My friend. Can't really tell there, but way is pretty obvious. There's a scale there. Actually, also, my friend is the knife. Bingo, I did a little knife thing, so there it is right there. And All Things Reconsidered, does he have that on the radio? I don't know. The mirror, is that a reconsideration of the room? Because the mirror reflection appears to be actually different than what you see there. So is that All Things Reconsidered there? I don't know. It's ice. Immediately when I looked at this, I thought maybe that was some ice going on there. It also appears to be very cold outside. It's winter. There's no leaves on the trees, so who fucking knows there. Lengthwise again. He's lengthwise in the bed. The horse apparently didn't appear in this artwork. It appeared on hoist. And silent in the morning. Yeah, well, this could be early morning or late at night, after midnight, early morning, because it's dark outside. Who knows? But anyways, yeah. That's all I could find in there. Let me know what you thought yourselves in the comments. Some final thoughts after listening to this. Number one thing that comes to my head is that I like the production of this a lot better than a picture of nectar, which I may have been calling a taste of nectar earlier in this video. I'm not too sure. But username What Would House Do commented on the review that I did on my channel that you can check out. That user said, some amazing songs on APON, but I disliked the production. It was their major label debut, and the producer kind of went overboard thinking it was a professional sound they were getting, but there's too much reverb. For some reason, they chose to have the first and third tracks with pretty much the identical drum openings, and the pitch shift effect on Trey's voice kills Chalk Dust Torture, which is absolutely what I was thinking when I was listening to that, and I forgot to put that in my video. But yes, thank you very much, What Would House Do, for your comment. I did like the sound of this a lot better, and I think it's a closer version of what Phish is live on a record. And it definitely sounded better than Lawn Boy and Yunta as well. Much more consistent sonically wise than those. So here are my final ratings and some favorite tracks on the album. I'm going to give this one a 6 severed, stolen Trey Anastasio medical research hands out of 10. I probably wouldn't listen to this again. The best parts of this album are 10 out of 10, but the other parts are somewhat middling. There's a track like It's Ice, which is just kind of Phish in general for me. Nothing really special going on in there, and I don't think I'll revisit a lot of this album. And again, that's just my opinion. I do like Phish, but I am somewhat critical in what I listen to. My favorite tracks were Maze and Sparkle, most definitely. The best guitar solo I thought was on Maze, and it's the whole fucking thing, not the first part, not the second part. The whole song is fucking sensational. You can really hear him hammering on those two tube screamers and getting that compressor dialed in there. It's sounding fucking fantastic. And I'd say the track that I want to hear live most when I get to see Phish would actually be Rift, because I don't recall hearing. I've heard it before, but I can't recall a version. I'd love to hear it. It's a nice energy. It would, if I was having like a low point in the set, like if they just dropped an ice on me and they played that, it could get me right back up. So thank you very much. If you made it through this video, thank you for watching. Please take the time to check out my channel, subscribe to my channel, share this video with people you think might like it, and take care of yourselves out there. And I'll see you on a future video. Thanks again.